Hello. Welcome back to the second episode of our brand new hardcore world, where last time out we built up this absolute beauty of an island to give us the ultimate start in this world. And today I plan to get something that is so important that no world can survive without it. I really want a happy ghast. These things were introduced in 1.21.6 and I absolutely need to find one. So that means today we have a few things on the jobs list before we can brave the nether to find the dried version, as well as a couple of things that I couldn't figure out what picture to use, so they can stay a secret. But before we do any of that, more importantly, in the last video I introduced you all to my new sidekick and asked you all for some name ideas. And the very poshly named Lady Grace said that my pig-loving son should name the pig, which I quite like to be fair. So everyone, say hi to Oscar. So now our pigmate finally has a name, I reckon we should look at the Happy Ghast jobs list. And the first things to sort are enchanting and XP. You may remember in the last episode we found these two spider spawners perfectly placed in the mineshaft for us to be able to make a double spider farm, which should be pretty good for XP. So the plan here is to make the XP farm with an enchanting setup right down here to make my life easy and not have to run up and down stairs to make my gear all nice. So first job, XP farm. Oh yeah, I forgot that was there too. I've made this big massive hole for the spiders to spawn in, and I was gonna funnel them this way, but it seems that we have a little bit of a problem in our way. Although thinking about it, maybe we can turn that problem into an opportunity. Back in a jiffy. Okay, that was probably the longest back in a jiffy ever because it has literally taken me forever to figure this out. Average by name, average by nature, I guess. I thought about trying to funnel them all into the same killing chamber, but it just seemed way too complicated, so this will just have to do. It works pretty nicely though, because when you are standing here smashing the heck out of the spiders for XP, the skellies are dropping down behind us, which means we can then just run over here and get the skellies, which will mainly be for bones to be honest, rather than XP. Obviously this whole place is going to need some serious redecorating, but honestly I don't think any of my portals can take it at the minute without getting on the enchantment train. I've even had to go back onto iron picks because the diamond one is looking pretty sad. So to fix that, while we're down at the -Y levels, let's get ourselves a little bit of obsidian. Might take a while though. Then let's head back up our wonky stairs. Meow. Then we can zoom past the chickens and grab a bit of sugarcane. Then we can get a bit of cow skin. Then we can make some bookshelves and our first enchanting table of the season. I need another book. Like I was saying, our first enchanting table of the season. And then we can temporarily plonk that down here. And I'm going to do some spidering and some enchanting. And this time I will definitely be back in a jiffy. So you know how earlier I said I'll be back in a jiffy? And then I wasn't. And then I said I'd be back in a jiffy again. Well, I wasn't. It has taken me quite a while and a lot of trips to the enchanting table, but I do now have some pretty reasonable armour and some gear that's going to keep me safe. And while all that was going on, I just kind of decorated the heck out of this area, mainly because before it just made me feel really sad. I went for a very simple bit of pale oak for the walls and a load of other bits dotted around like leaves, spore blossoms, glowberries and also this pale hanging moss, which is really super nice. And I decorated all the way up to this point where I just kind of gave up and now it just horrifically blends into the mineshaft and looks all sad again. Another job for later, eh? Because now that the first two jobs on our list are done, we can move on to the next one, which is one of the secret tasks. Ooh! And basically for that secret task, while I've been going up and down these stairs for the past however long... Hello? Stupid zombie ruining my chats. Like I said, while I've been going up and down the stairs all the time, I've got quite fed up with having to cross this water constantly and getting myself all wet. So I've invented this brand new structural thing called a bridge, which will let me walk instead of swim. And I'm going to make myself one right now. Bridge is complete and looking bridgiant. Wow, that was really, really bad. We are now all joined up to the main island and it is looking very fancy indeed. And even better, I don't get all wet when I come out of the mines anymore. Except when it's raining, I guess. And speaking of the mines, it's time to move straight on to the next thing on the list, which is another one of those where I didn't know what picture to use. And to be honest, it doesn't have anything to do with a happy ghast. Because now we have the bridge done, the only problem we do have is it just leads to a massive hole in the side of the dirt, and that is not how I want to roll. So I think we need a proper mining entrance over here that is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. And to make that aesthetically pleasing entrance, I think first we need to flatten out the front a little bit. And now that is done, alongside clearing out some trees from above, we can make a little entranceway here with some wooden beams. And then figure out a cool little way to make it a bit less boring. That is looking decent. I like how we have these kind of floofy bits on the outer edge, which kind of match the roof line for the house that's over there. Finally, I want to make this look like it's kind of built into a mountainside, so we need to convert this dirt into some stony kind of shenanigans. So first up, time for a little material gathering montage. That was easy. And I don't really have any idea how to turn this into a kind of mountainside, so I'm just going to start placing blocks and see how we get on. And as we walk over the bridge to see our new mining entrance all finished, I reckon that is just a tad better than what we had before. Especially when you see the sunrise behind it in shaders. After I finished making it, I went down beneath the surface to grab a few ores, and you know what? I am really happy with how this thing came out. And I reckon it looks really cool from here, but as soon as you reach the entrance, it looks a proper gross. So eventually I do need to sort out this tunnel, but I think that is a future snow problem. Because now that the mining entrance is all finished off, it's time to do this editing bit again, I guess. Which means sorting out a new portal so we can actually go and find the dried ghast in the nether. And you know, we could just build a bog standard portal, go straight into the nether and be done with it. But why do that when we can make a fancy portal that actually makes our growing town look half decent? And I thought swinging round here to the side of the mine entrance would be a good spot to put that fancy portal. And with that, I'm going to try and add a little bit of lore into this world. And that lore is that portals don't just appear out of nowhere, do they? Of course they don't. Those people who live in this little town, which needs a name by the way, well, they had a massive crane which just happened to find this weird magic portal thing in the water, and then they yanked it out so a weirdo called AverageSnow could see what's on the other side. And before we go to the other side, I just want to gloat about how awesome this whole area is looking after all the building we've done today. We've got the bridge, we've got the mining entrance, we've got the crane with the hanging portal over there and the broken bridge leading up to it. Oh man, I love it. It's looking so good. This town is growing and I love it so much. And now all that building's done, we need to edit in snow here. We don't need to do all this stuff again, do we? We just need to stop putting it off and actually get on with going to the nether, right? Alright, Edit in Snow, stop moaning if you say so. I've got my gold helmet just in case, and apparently, according to the internet, if we can find a Soul Sand Valley, we should be able to find those dried ghast. Alright, first up, some simple parkour, and then here we go. Let's see where we spawn when we get there. Okay, not a Soul Sand Valley, and that is very close to the edge and pretty precarious. Oh hey, look at this guy. I have never seen that before. Hello. Goodbye. Right, enough messing about. I need to take a trip through this forest behind me and probably dodge some hoglins, and hopefully I'll be back in a minute in a Soul Sand Valley. Well, hey, here we go. That wasn't too bad, to be fair. I just kept walking in a straight line and found it eventually. I think that they spawn near these bony things over here, but I have no idea how common they are. Obviously not that common though, because there isn't one there. I think that I only want one at the minute, so it's just a case of walking around until I find one, really. Pretty slowly on this stuff. Nope, nope, double nope. But hey, yes, we found one. Oh yeah, here's the entrails of a skelly I just killed with my bow. How do you break them? I'm guessing pickaxe. Well, yep, that worked. Decent, decent. Well, that was pretty easy. Let's head back and then we can get this Happy Ghast show on the road. Okay, home sweet home, and I am ready to plant this thing. Is that what we say? I don't know, like grow it? Hatch it, I guess? I think we are supposed to place it in water, so I reckon here is as good a place as any with all of the little fishies. I guess the advancement is a pretty good sign that I've done things right, and those green sparkles are probably a good sign too. So then it's just a waiting game, I suppose. And after about 20 minutes of extreme excitement standing around and waiting... Hey! There you are! Dude, you're so cute, aren't you? Look at him flying around. I kind of want to keep a little one, actually. Much better than those horrible ones in the nether, right? Oh my god, the little noises they make. So this is a ghastling, right? And then we have to wait for you to turn into a proper happy ghast that can like fly me around and stuff. The only problem is though, I can imagine you're going to start flying away, aren't you? So I'm going to grab myself a lead, which I know you can craft now, but I can assure you no trader villagers were harmed in the making of this one. Okay, I feel a bit bad doing this because I'm sure you'd much rather be a little free-range happy ghast, but I'm going to tie you up to this fence post and then hopefully that doesn't stop you actually being happy. Apparently you can speed up the growth of them by feeding him snow, but I actually haven't found any yet, so other than me, I don't see any snow around here. So a load more waiting, I guess. Oh, I went for a sleep. There you are. That was pretty painful, I'm not going to lie, but there you are, you're now fully grown, and you are absolutely massive. Ah, all his dangly bits keep getting in my face. Right, to make him useful, we need to make a harness, which apparently is leather, a bit of glass, and then whatever colour wool you want. So obviously we're going to go for orange, because it's the best colour. And then I'm guessing we right-click to equip it. No, it's not working. Is he too far away? Should we climb up a bit? Come here, dude. Come back! I'm so confused. Why can't I equip him? Do I let him off the lead? Is that why? No, apparently not. Hey! There we go. So then how do I get on? Oh, he's just going to fly away. I'm guessing if he gets low enough, I could just right click. Come here, dude. Here we go, here we go. Yay! Oh my god, this is amazing. This is so cool. Okay, so how do we fly around? Oh, okay, so it's just space to go up and WASD. Oh my god, this is so cute. This is amazing. We can actually go really super high here. This is kind of freaky. How do we go back down? Uh-oh. Okay, if we hit shift, we end up just standing on top of him, which feels a little bit too scary, so I'm just going to sit down because that feels a little bit more safe. More importantly though, people, I have a very important job for you all. We are definitely going to need a name for this guy, aren't we? So let me know in the comments, please. But now we actually have the unnamed Happy Ghast dude, I think other than just looking at our glorious island, we should probably actually use them for something before this episode is all done. And I have a little idea. So thanks to Mojang, we can now lead boats and we can attach them to our unnamed ghast dude. Which means that seeing as I needed a mending villager, getting them back to our island just got a heck of a lot easier. And I thought I'd bring him a friend along for company too, which I'm sure they're absolutely delighted about. It's just really, really, really slow.